What a world. We're going to catch on the Michael Jordan and LeBron James debate. I want to cover a little more of the ins and outs of this conversation. I've had a couple of videos kind of briefly going over, and we'll get more in depth as more videos do come out on my side. This was last month ago. This was whenever Jason Whitlock was still part of the show. Looks like around a week or two ago they did let him go on FS1. I got to look more into the information of what happened with him. I think it was something controversial with something with Donald Trump, or as well as a BLM or political move by Whitlock. I think I saw a clip, but I have to look more into there. But Whitlock keeps it real. He pretty much knows most of the time the writing on the wall, what's going on in the background. He's here or there sometimes. He can get off track. Usually been on point for the last year or so. But yeah, let's see what he has to say about the Michael Jordan and LeBron debate.
With the Michael Jordan last dance ESPN last night, it wrapped up with episode 9 and 10. They reported reports now that the debate what's the better documentary, Last Dance or OJ Van America. I say Last Dance. But there doesn't seem to be much debate about who the GOAT is in basketball, particularly as it relates to Michael Jordan versus LeBron James. ESPN releasing a poll, a pretty comprehensive poll of comparison between Michael Jordan and LeBron James. Like 73% of people think Jordan is a better player than LeBron James.
That's crazy. They're right. Michael Jordan is easily the greatest player of all time over LeBron James. I got LeBron James number 5 all time. Real quickly on my top 5, I have Michael Jordan. I have Bill Russell, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson. That's my Mount Rushmore. Then number 5 of LeBron James. He's close to hopping over Magic Johnson. If LeBron does win this championship, and I foresee it to be in 2020 with the Lakers, that's his legacy and resume is going to bounce up the roof. He'll knock out Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson and Kareem, they were on the Lakers together. They shared finals MVPs. As well as the success on that team running through the Western Conference. With LeBron, this pretty much shows his impact to where if he goes on a franchise, he can win you a championship 1 out of 3 to 4 seasons. As well as anytime he's on a franchise, he'll make the finals with you, let alone win a championship, 40% of the time, 30, 35, somewhere around in that ballpark. That'll be huge for LeBron, winning 3 finals MVPs, 3 championships on 3 different franchises, 4 total, which would be an amazing feature. And I would bump him to the Mount Rushmore in the NBA. I'll have to see how the playoffs and the finals turn out, how he performs, if he captures that finals MVP to really justify going over Magic Johnson. I expect him to win finals MVP, so he'll bounce him off and head off in the Mount Rushmore. I would have to really evaluate, I still would put Bill Russell at 2, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar at 3, LeBron at 4. Because the top 5 players in NBA history, as of right now, they have at least 4 rings, and LeBron's right there at number 5 to where he has 3. Right below him is Larry Bird, and then you have Shaq and as well as Tim Duncan, but they weren't always the best player on their team during that tenure. LeBron's always been the best player. Same thing with Larry Bird. That's why they have 3 championships at least. But yeah, let's go a little further here. Real quickly, so 73% of fans had MJ. They have it right, and it's funny because you have this new social media, new millennial age, to where you have young cats on Twitter as well as TV analysts proclaiming that LeBron's the GOAT. It's very cringy how they push that notion. LeBron's greatness and impact is there, but it's not consistently overtaking Michael Jordan when he has 2 3-peats, 6 championships, led his team. I'll go over other accolades, accomplishments, and stats later on within that. Yeah, congrats to the fans. 73%. They know what they're talking about when it comes to this. But whenever LeBron wins that 4th chip, they're really going to spark this conversation and argument even more because that'll be a 3rd franchise.
The Last Dance document, its legacy will be, it ended
listen, as of right now, it's always been over. There is not a conversation. This has been the case since pretty much 2017, 2018. In 2016, when LeBron won that third championship, LeBron was 31 years old. Michael Jordan was 31 years old, and he captured his third championship, or he already had three championships at that time. So during that time period when LeBron was 31, MJ was 31, they both had three championships. MJ had three finals appearances, three finals MVP. LeBron James had three finals MVP, but as well as seven finals appearances. Even though he lost more, he had more experience, and this is something we are really awakening to LeBron getting better. Going to reach more finals, so that was enlightening to see. But MJ, when it came to the amount of time he played in the NBA, it was around 8 to 9 seasons. No, actually, no. MJ won his first championship in his, I believe, whenever he was 20. Man, I can't even think. I think he was like 28, somewhere around in that ballpark, 27, around there. But with LeBron James, he played more seasons to where he started off when he was 18 years old. He didn't go to college. He went straight from St. Vincent St. Mary High School straight to the league. Michael Jordan played over a couple years in college. So that's a different situation when it comes to him. But as of right now, LeBron lost to the Warriors because KD joined them, and he racked up 2 finals losses after that, as well as not making the playoffs. He was injured. That's a debate. But with Michael Jordan, he retired, came back, three-peated. And during this time period, LeBron is 35 years of age. And at 35, LeBron can finish off with 4 championships. At 35, with Michael Jordan, he finished off with the 6 championships. So LeBron wins this year. It'll be 4 chips to LeBron, 6 to Michael Jordan. He still got some work to go.
No, I don't agree. Reason, I don't know what the time clock looks like, but I'm about to get a bunch of shots off here. First of all, I don't even think this is objective analysis. If you talk about ESPN and broadcasting a documentary that is totally, fully approved by Michael Jordan himself, and this same documentary is now going to have a poll in the middle of it, not in the height of Jordan's power, but in the height of Jordan now reflecting on his greatness. We're going to ask, is he better than LeBron James? Now, remember, this documentary originally was scheduled to air in June during the playoffs that LeBron was seeking his 5th finals appearance. I think the reason we finally saw Jordan dust off all of this footage is because he shook. He finally found someone that is threatening his throne, and it's LeBron James.
Well, no. LeBron kind of was whenever he won his 2nd championship in Miami. And most importantly, his 3rd championship in Cleveland. But LeBron had a lot of losses and baggage under him. Michael Jordan has a flawless and most efficient resume when it comes to the NBA. Listen, MJ knows that the media and these young cats are pushing for LeBron. MJ already knows he's the GOAT. He won't proclaim it because he's respectful of the different eras in the NBA with Bill Russell, Kareem, other cats like that. So MJ is cool with it. He did sign off whenever LeBron won his 3rd championship in 2016 to start the documentary. He probably saw that LeBron could rack up a few more championships. But still, even if MJ was a little nervous or not, he's still the GOAT. He's on a higher tier than LeBron, which LeBron hasn't reached yet. LeBron had GOATish moments the last 3 games of the 2016 finals. I'll give LeBron that. Those were GOAT moments, but it wasn't. But with Michael Jordan, he had that very consistently, as well as did it year after year.
LeBron James wasn't even fully introduced to the GOAT conversation until 2016, when the comeback down 1-3 against the Golden State Warriors. And with that epic comeback, people started to say, you know what? LeBron James might be the GOAT. And then shortly thereafter, we start dusting off the footage to do a production that is supposed to take a snipe at LeBron and his upcoming greatness. LeBron's in the 4th quarter. Jordan's story is old and been told.
Yeah, so that's a good point. But the thing is, people are proclaiming LeBron's the GOAT now, which is not the case. LeBron's number 5 all time. He hasn't even reached over Magic Johnson, Bill Russell, as well as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Listen, a lot of cats are going to get mad at Bill Russell on there. I can care less. You got to look in perspective. Bill Russell was dominating the 60s. He played against one of the greatest players. You had Elgin Baylor. You had Wilt Chamberlain. Jerry West. He waxed them year after year in the finals. Bill Russell was the king of Game 7 wins. Even though it was an expansion period to where they had around 8 to 12 teams, listen, Bill Russell was dominant. He was one of the greatest defenders of all time. And whenever Bill Russell left the team, the Boston Celtics never saw that success for a couple more years to where they had to retool their team. So Bill Russell was the main focus to where they won 11 championships in 13 seasons, as well as in 12 finals. And you got to give it to him. He dominated his era. Even though, there wasn't mad talent back then, you still had Wilt Chamberlain, Jerry West, Elgin Baylor on one team with the Lakers. He still never lost to them when it came to the finals. So you got to give credit to Bill Russell. He dominated the 60s as well as entering off in the 70s, left off his team. And then you had in the 80s, which you had, or in the 70s, there wasn't really that go-to kind of star, consistent team. You had Kareem win a championship within there. In the 80s, they brought it back. You had Magic and Larry trade-off championships throughout that year. The 90s, it was MJ. In the late 80s in the low 90s, you did have the Detroit Pistons for a little bit, but then you had Michael Jordan, the Bulls take over in the 90s. Entering off in the 2000s, you had the Los Angeles Lakers with a few teams in the mix with the Spurs. And in the 2010s, you had the Miami Heat as well as the Golden State Warriors pretty much take off in that era, and any team with LeBron James in. So now we're in the 2020s. It's probably going to be LeBron for a championship, maybe even 2 or 3. I can't foresee a three-peat, but I can see maybe a possible back-to-back, let alone at least one championship. So you're going to have LeBron and the Lakers in there. You're probably going to have to throw in the Nets for a couple of seasons. Maybe Miami Heat with Giannis being signed. It's here or there when it comes to it. With LeBron James right now, he's not the GOAT. Let's take it step by step. Let's see if he wins a championship this season with the Lakers. If he does, that would be very impressive for his resume. Yeah, MJ pushed the bar so high that LeBron is stressing in his career trying to reach the Michael Jordan accomplishments of 6 championships. MJ never lost in the finals. MJ would average around 30, 35 points a season, over 50% shooting in the big man and defensive era in the 90s. It's amazing to watch. And plus, as well as LeBron's only won 60 games in a season out of 17 seasons, around 3 times. He won 66 games in 2009 with the Cavaliers, 66 games with the Miami Heat in 2013, and then around 61 games in 2010 with the Cleveland Cavaliers. LeBron's never reached over 60 wins over that. Michael Jordan, he had a 72-10 record. I believe he had a 70-12 record. If not that, 69-13. One of the following years with the Chicago Bulls, as well as in the high 60s and low 60s. MJ's had that around 5 times, I believe, at least, or 6. Crazy stat. And we've seen with Michael Jordan, there's some seasons to where he hasn't lost 3 games or more in a regular season. With LeBron, we've seen that consistently throughout his career, that he couldn't beat the top-notch teams in the regular season, such as like the San Antonio Spurs, the Golden State Warriors. I'm trying to think of another team. Sometimes the Houston Rockets. Later, whenever he was on his second stint with the Cleveland Cavaliers. So with LeBron, he's been on 3 franchises. He's utilized his rights to team up with teammates, change franchises. So, I'm actually going to grade LeBron even harder on that. And he only has 3 championships and 6 losses. I don't know how you can really defend when it comes to LeBron and that notion. So we're going to end off this video on part 1. I'm going to go to the next video for part 2. We're going to jump directly here into part 2 of LeBron James and Michael Jordan, the GOAT debate. Well, last season, LeBron James was on his show that he created. What was it called? I think like More Than an Athlete or Uninterrupted, something like that. He was stating in the interview that he thought after winning 2016 against the Warriors that he was the greatest of all time. So LeBron's already stated that out there. He knows he can't catch MJ in rings, so he's going to have to state this earlier to where if you have people, TV pundits as well as Shannon Sharp, Nick Wright, they're already planting the seed that LeBron's the GOAT right now, to where if LeBron doesn't win another championship, 2 or 3, then, if LeBron doesn't win it, he's ready to GOAT. But LeBron does win this year, they're going to amplify their reasoning to say that he is the GOAT. So you gotta watch out for that, Cats. Yes. Jason Whitlock, he gets deep. Listen, before he goes too much, LeBron has a feminine energy when it comes to him. He's an agent of chaos when it comes to joining the Cleveland Cavaliers on a second stint. He had anarchy all around him. He was a narcissist. He brought the attention to himself. With David Griffin as the GM, he didn't hold off too much. We've had situations where Tyronn Lue had to go to the hospital, take a leave of absence for 2 weeks, came to being stressed with LeBron. Kyrie Irving, LeBron would butt heads a lot of times. LeBron would butt heads as well as with Kevin Love on that team. And LeBron James liked to play his own system. He wants the ball in his hands. LeBron doesn't like to run a system to where there's ball movement, per se. People, when it comes to LeBron, they say, oh, no, wait, he's a great passer. Yeah, he is, but LeBron has to have the ball in his hands, initiate the offense, and kick it out for you to hit an open 3 in the corner, or as well as if you're cutting in. But let's just say, for example, LeBron passes it out to one player who is like a Danny Green or, like a J.R. Smith. He wants them to shoot it immediately. If that J.R. Smith were to be able to drive it off and kick it to like Kyle Korver for the 3, LeBron's cool, he made it in, but, LeBron's more focused on his stats as well as his usage. LeBron knows he's not going to win as many championships, so he wants his stats to be up there. LeBron's not a big fan of the hockey assist, which we've never seen LeBron like in the Golden State Warriors or San Antonio Spurs system. It's where a coach takes over, they move the ball. LeBron always wants it in his hands around 15 seconds, just dribble out the clock and then just do his thing. Not the best brand to watch when it comes to this. But LeBron does have feminine energy when it comes to him in the NBA, especially with that second stint of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Pat Riley and the Miami Heat did check him, and that's why we saw the most success for LeBron James, playing more in a team system, not running the point guard as always. He'll run the point forward from time to time, but even Mario Chalmers will bring the ball up with Dwayne Wade. LeBron pretty much knew his place, and we saw the most success. He had over 40% percentage when it came to three-point shooting, and we've seen the best defense LeBron play that season. And 2013 was the greatest LeBron of all time when it comes to his career. So same thing. LeBron brought that energy with Cleveland. He brought chaos. He brought confusion. I've always stated this, Cats. He's kind of like a black hole. He'll come into your franchise, your place. He'll take all your resources, use it to his style, which is not always the best. After 3 to 4 seasons, he'll leave you high and dry, and he'll move on to the next franchise. And you just squeak out at least one championship. So that's what it comes to LeBron James. He's not a leader. He's become more of a leader with Anthony Davis on this team because Anthony Davis is putting LeBron on check and holding him accountable because AD can leave the next following free agency. So LeBron has his eye on that.
What you just saw, the episode of Last Dance was masculinity and the cheese ball from Michael Jordan. That's why his shoes sell globally at a record pace. We start removing masculinity, and people start thirsting for masculinity. That's why young people in this poll, because it didn't matter whether you were above 35 or below 35. In the history of the world, people have always been attracted to masculinity. Michael Jordan was the last king of the man era of the NBA. And we just saw Marcellus call this tape or footage what Michael Jordan just did. He brought out his receipt. In case y'all forgot, here are my receipts. Here's what I did. There's no one, maybe Bill Russell, but Bill Russell played in a different era, 9 teams, can't even put him in a debate. Michael Jordan put his receipts out there and said, "I'm like the master. I played in the era when Karl Malone could bust me upside the head, the Detroit Pistons busted me upside my head. I survived all that and became the king." People are attracted to that kind of masculinity. Michael Jordan is old.
Yeah, with Michael Jordan, with that documentary, The Last Dance, he didn't retire because of his father. His father and him was very close. He provided that masculine energy and the family structure when it came to him. Unfortunately with LeBron James, he didn't have that father figure when it came to him. He was there with his mother, who had to take on down the fort. Allegedly what we've seen. With LeBron, if you're living, just alone at home with your one mom, kudos to her when it comes to things, depending on the, circumstances. But having all that feminine energy, we can definitely tell rubbed off on LeBron James. Showing more of his emotional side, distress and chaos, no structure, leadership, and order. And that's the case when it comes to LeBron. I think he could have really benefited joining a college playing for a year. I know LeBron was talented enough to jump into the NBA, but being a star when it came to high school, as well as the center of attention on the Cavaliers, he was too good. The ball was always in his hands, and there wasn't enough good, talented players with him. So whenever LeBron joined, they instantly won around 30, 35 games. The next season, 40. The next season, the playoffs, and then the finals. So they didn't have a high enough draft pick to complement LeBron with young stars on the team, which has been a detriment. But I think if LeBron would have been able to play in college, he would have learned more of a team system. Usually in colleges and universities, the D1s, they'll put these players in check. There's no egos that usually go around. Even if you're number 1 to number 5 in the lottery to be in the NBA draft, you have these coaches put these players on check. They're more focused on winning and not about egos.
Everybody's attracted to that. Everybody respects that. LeBron plays in a different era. Everybody wants to be best friends. Nobody wants to fight. No one wants to do anything inappropriate. I just think it's the platform of where we're at today. LeBron can put together whatever documentary he wants, but as long as
Yeah, listen, LeBron's going to put a documentary. They're going to have to skip around a lot of seasons, like in, for example, when it comes to 2011, they'll probably make that around a 3-minute part of the documentary. Jump into 2012, probably make that like a 20, 30-minute of 2013. And then I'm going on with this, cats. Whenever it came to Michael Jordan, the Bulls, with Michael Jordan's career, he emerged, he was an all-star, and then he learned how to win, and then he just never looked back. With Michael Jordan or with the LeBron James documentary, it's going to be flippy floppy all over the place. Winning, losing, winning, losing, losing. It's going to be like all over. So they'll probably incorporate more off-brand and off-the-court things, such as the "I Promise" school that Nike orchestrated for LeBron James to exit Cleveland. Same thing with LeBron James being quote-unquote an Ali figure, which is not the case, but LeBron knows what he's doing. He's trying to push these things off the court to fill in either for a documentary, his legacy, as well as, so people can enhance him as the GOAT, which I'm not falling for at all. Hey, has LeBron James ever won a three-peat? How did that go, Marcus Wiley? Huh? Yeah, I mean, that's ridiculous. Listen, Michael Jordan retired after winning a three-peat, which barely amount of all-stars or stars can ever say they've done in their life. Then he came back and won another three-peat. It's like, Michael Jordan haters, they man, they're so petty, man. They'll talk about his first two to three seasons, losing in the first round to the Bucks and the Celtics. And they're acting like playing against one of the greatest teams of all time and losing to them in your second or third season is a bad thing. And then they talk about him resting for a year and a half. It's like, come on, man. I mean, if LeBron did the same thing, LeBron did the same thing pretty much right now. He's out for 5 seasons. If LeBron doesn't win the 22 championship, then, go off on them. It's like, it's ridiculous. Listen, you can't use that excuse when LeBron James has been on 3 franchises, technically 4, because he joined Cleveland a second stint. So you can't use that excuse about different franchises when it comes to all this and that. Listen, Michael Jordan played against the Utah Jazz, a very great team when it came to in the 90s. He played against the Seattle Supersonics, Charles Barkley and the Suns, Clyde Drexler and the Blazers, Magic Johnson. He was 31 years of age during that time. He was not old. You didn't have Kareem that series, but that's still a formidable team to watch and play.
Talking about aura, when they say the greatest rapper of all time is Tupac, and then you know what they first say? He was bigger than rap, and he was more than just an MC. It was his aura. He did more than anything, the impact. And then I start saying, what's interesting about that? When you start going skill to skill, song to song, there are challengers. It's the same thing with MJ. He's bigger than the NBA. He was more than just a basketball player. Impact. Look at my damn shirt. I hear y'all. But when we start going line item to line item, all of a sudden there is a challenger, a formidable one who's not done writing his script. His name is LeBron James. And I think these are parallels in terms of the comparison. We sometimes start to bring in other variables that really shouldn't factor into who's the greatest of all time. But that conversation will continue because LeBron will...
Listen, Wiley didn't even make a case. He pretty much stated, about the competition, and then LeBron's still playing. LeBron is still playing, but for LeBron to catch MJ's 3 more championships, I see for sure at least 1 more. I'll be very impressed LeBron can win 2, let alone 3. That would be out of this world. Even if LeBron does win 6 championships in total, I still wouldn't put him as the GOAT. I would, you could most likely entertain that conversation. Who's the GOAT? Because of LeBron's impact on different franchises. I don't have a problem with that, but nah, LeBron James is never going to be the greatest player of all time. If LeBron finishes with at least 4 championships and he catches Kareem with 38,000 points, LeBron will have the stats. I'll be cool with him being the second greatest player of all time. We have to see when it comes to it. I like to take years, year by year, how things play off in this season. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap it off here. I like Jason Whitlock's statement going a little more deeper on the feminine side of LeBron as well as the masculinity of Michael Jordan. There's more variables when it comes to things, but a lot of cats don't really think three-dimensionally when it comes to Whitlock. But he's on point when it comes to here.